Hello Ronnie, hello Tish, welcome to Amsterdam. Detailed Amsterdam number 44. How quickly the weeks go by. Let me just pan around slowly. It is gorgeous. Hello Susan, hello Jackie. Let me do a quick pan around for you. Hi Trisha. Pauline, welcome. Audrey, Tony, hey Ruth, shalom. Welcome to Amsterdam on a chilly day. Look, I've got my ears covered. Hi Adrian, welcome, welcome, welcome. Great, okay, so I hope I got quite a nice evening planned for you. This is pretty much enough of looking at me. So let's begin. Okay, and we're on the Keizersgracht. So I've jumped a canal and we've done a bit of Keizersgracht up to the Western Church. So now we are going southwards from the Western Church. Let's just grab a quick look at the canal as well. So pretty. Lovely evening. Look at that blue sky. Let's lose the cars. I do have eyes on the top of my head. This is the hat that was given to me by Lee with the googly eyes. Okay, so Keizersgracht, the middle canal of the canal belt, and obviously we have a whole lot of grand houses with house fronts kind of from the 1700s basically is what we're looking at. And I've always just loved these reflections in the windows. Check that out, isn't it lovely? Okay, 208 is not the house I'm looking for, but I did notice this. Look how unusual and how strange the capitals here are of these columns. I've never seen anything like that before, so there's obviously some architect having a bit of fun. But the first building I do want to start at is this one. Hey, hello, Nick. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Let me get right in front of the building here. What's interesting to me about this building is the way it's actually, this one here, it's actually quite a modest building, really. There's nothing particularly unusual about it. It's got a Louis XIV neck gable, as you can see up there. But the story of who lived there is quite interesting. In 1616, it was built for no other than Docula. My face is cold. Hello, Polly. Dr. Nicholas Tulp. Dr. Nicholas Tulip. Now, Dr. Tulip wasn't born with that name. He was born and his name was called Klaas Pieterzoon. Klaas, son of Peter. And he went to study medicine in the town of Leiden, just to the south of Amsterdam, between here and The Hague, and that was in 1611. And he graduated and he chose the tulip. Oh look, I'm getting one of those kind of Japanesey feels. I'm onto this whole Van Gogh Japanesey thing with trees in the foreground at the moment. He chose the tulip as his coat of arms. And also he had a wooden tulip like stuck up on the side of the house I just showed you. And he even took that as his surname because tulips were kind of exotic. I mean, that's kind of overkill on the tulip front, don't you think? But anyway, that's what he did. And he was a very successful doctor. Skipping to the end, in 1637, as all of you who know me or watched last week at Kokenhof, 1637 was the tulip bubble. And that is when tulips went from being something exotic to being more of a symbol of frivolity. Now, he had a problem here. He was a very proud man, and he had a tulip up outside his house, probably somewhere on the wall like that. That wasn't too difficult. He could take the tulip down, no problem. But he couldn't exactly go changing his name now. So his name remained Tulip, which was now a bit of a symbol of frivolity. And he is well known in history for many reasons, but largely because of this painting here. Now, this is the Anatomy Lesson of Dr. Tulip by Rembrandt. Let me get his house on the side. So this was Rembrandt's first group portrait. Now, Rembrandt had left Leiden. He'd come to live and work in Amsterdam. He was apprenticed to a member of the guild here, and he got this group portrait in 1632. Now, up until then, group portraits had been very Renaissance in style, very stilted, and people kind of posing uncomfortably for the camera. Here, this is a sort of a Baroque feel to it, Rembrandt's famous spotlight technique, and everyone really involved in exactly what they were doing. So this blew everyone away, and it got Rembrandt put on the map as the most desired portrait painter of that period. Now, oh, should I tell you the story or not? Maybe I'll tell you. I'll just keep an eye on time and see how much time we've got. I think I'll skip that story. But another story is that Dr. Tulip had a daughter, Margaretha, and she married Baron Six the First. So the first Baron Six, she married him. And this is the Baron Six of the Six family who are still going. And they have a fabulous art collection. And Baron Six the First's art collection benefited enormously from Dr. Tulip's art collection. So you get actual art from Dr. Tulip in Baron Six's collection. Okay, Tish. Excuse me, I'll tell you the story. Okay, Dr. Tulip carried out anatomies, yeah? Autopsies. So he had some idea of how bodies worked inside. Now, this was Protestant times, and in Catholic times up until then, people... let me just... fine, you can look at me for a while. In Catholic Europe, it was illegal to carry out autopsies in the 1500s, and so medical science was a little behind. They still subscribe to these ideas of Galen, actually, this Greek doctor from Roman times who thought there were four humors: blood, bile, phlegm, and black stuff, and they're still looking for the black stuff. Now, if you were sick, they would drain out the dirty blood, trying to rebalance your humors, okay? This was not a correct thing. It generally killed the patient. Now, the point is that Dr. Tulip should have known better. Harvey, a doctor from England, had already identified circulation of the blood. But Dr. Tulip didn't like this idea. He didn't go with it. So the 1600s must have been quite an overwhelming time, you know, with changes in religion, science, medicine, you name it. And he had this dreadful joke. So Harvey identified circulation of the blood. What Dr. Tulip's joke, this is dreadful 1600s surgeon humor, was he said, "I would rather be wrong with Galen than circulate with Harvey." Har, 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 har. Okay. So I was wondering whether I should tell you. You can decide, Tish, whether the story was worth it. Okay. Now, check out this baby here. We have a beautiful big church. I'm going to show it to you from the other side of the canal also. But let me just do a little quick walk in front of it. It was built from 1852 to 1854. And it goes on the way. It was inspired by French Gothic. And it's the first neo-Gothic church in Amsterdam. Going up, so neo-Gothic, French Gothic, big tall windows like this, and up there and even above as well is a rose window. And I have a video to share with you from inside, so here we go. They very, very that was so nice inside. It was a bit smoky because they just had a service and it was full of incense smoke, but look at how wonderfully it rises up there, the rose windows. On the ceiling is actually all the stars, the signs of the zodiac, which I'm kind of a little bit confused by because I didn't think that was such a religious thing. But there are all these signs. You can see there's Pisces on the right, and well, you can get an idea of what some of them are anyway. So a very, very, very lovely, serene space. I think out of the Catholic churches I've seen in the city, this is the one I would think, what a wonderful place. I mean, obviously the Jesuit one is lovely as well. But if you want to attend Mass, it's a great place to do it. It's a 3-aisle church, which is quite common for French Gothic. So the main aisle in the middle, and then 2 side ones, as you can see. On the side ones, you'll tend to get chapels and confession booths. The decoration is painted. That came slightly after the church was opened. And this is walking down the side aisle here. The different stations of the cross. Now, this was known originally as the Church of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And now it's known as the Church of Our Lady, or Our Dear Lady. It's OLV, Onze Lieve Vrouwe. So that's the Church of Our Lady. And I'll go and show you, once we're done with this, I'll do a close-up on their information board outside, and then you can see that. It is huge, Tony, indeed. Beautiful artwork as well. God. And then what I did here is I just took a few photographs and of the different side chapels, giving you an idea of it. Annette, I'm just reading your comment. It makes you want to get a Mass. So, Annette, and I know Adrian's on board, and Ruth as well. I just wanted to say, let me get rid of this off the screen. Happy Passover, and look what I found! Look what I found! It's a matzah. And look, look what I found here as well. Afikoman. Oh. Basically, happy Passover, everybody. It does look a bit like Pac-Man, doesn't it? Anyway. Yum, yum, yum. I love matzo, I must say. I was amusing Ruth earlier because I come from just a secular Christian family, but I went to a Jewish preschool. So for me, the hiding of the matzo just takes me right back to my preschool years. And then, of course, because it was all a bit mixed up, we, in my house, at my great insistence as a 5, 6, 7-year-old, had baby Moses under the Christmas tree. So, just how it was. Anyway, let's see, what is next? trying to find... Oh, this is exactly it right here. This is the one I want to talk about. Great. So I've been so busy, so I haven't really had time to walk the route with my final notes. But number 224. This was built in 1622 by a grocer from Cologne. Seriously. Okay. I mean, obviously this house front is not from 1622. I mean, you can see all the triglyphs and the great big pilasters and what have you. So this is a much later facade. Indeed, this was renovated in the late 1700s by this guy called Jean de Neufville. Neufville, N-E-U-F-L-L-E. Let me just try and zoom out a little bit. And a nice story, Adrian. So de Neufville. Let me show you how grand it is inside. This is a chimney breast from inside the house. So we're talking like super fancy here. And he was an early investor in the US. So we spoke, I showed quite recently a house where one of the bankers who bankrolled John Adams, I'm trying to get rid of this picture, hang on, lived. Indeed, Neufville also knew or raised money for John Adams and corresponded with both Benjamin Franklin and George Washington. So how's that for kind of well-connected people? Other owners of this house here, later owners, another owner was Peter de Winter. Now he was a very rich trader with a super art collection. And I think I'll just walk up to the bridge while we're talking about it. His art collection included Rembrandt, Jan Steen with his Jan Steen households, Vermeer, and his collection went to his daughter. Now, his daughter's name was Lucretia Johanna Winter, and she married into, wait for it, the Six family. So remember the Six family who had great taste in art and whose art collection got a boost from the daughter of Dr. Tulip? Well, their art collection got another boost from the daughter of Peter van Winter. And she had great taste. She bought Vermeer's Little Street and she bought Vermeer's Milkmaid. How's about that? And they ended up in the Rijksmuseum as a result of death duties and what have you. And her sister got the other half of her dad's collection, and she married into the Van Loon family, another patrician Amsterdam family. And the Van Loon collection was sold in its entirety to the Paris Rothschilds in 1877. So it's just rather amazing how this art kind of made its way around, and some of those pieces now have been bought back by the Dutch state and the French state jointly in one case from that collection. Yeah, a very nice collection, Ruth. Now let me show you a picture of a painting of her. This is Lucretia Winter, and this painting is hanging in Amsterdam in the Six family home, and you can apply to see the collection. And what's particularly special about this painting, because she's a Six ancestor, is the painting is on the wall, and then in the same room as the painting, underneath a glass dome, is the exact very same feathered hat that she's wearing hundreds of years later, which is pretty awesome, I think. Okay. Oh, it's cold. Now, this is the bridge. The street is called the Raadhuisstraat because it leads down to what was the City Hall. And this bridge is from 1925. It's called the Nick Angelman Bridge. That's the name of somebody, Nick, Englishman. And he is remembered because he was a Dutch actor and a gay rights activist and a resistance member during the war. And we're just next to the gay monument. and they named a bridge after him because what he did during the war is he produced an illegal newspaper from his home. It was printed there, and assisted Jewish friends and acquaintances, helping them to find hiding places. And here we have a rather lovely statue on the bridge. The statue is by the city sculptor of that period. His name was Hildo Krop. And he's got lots of these really beautiful sort of whimsical sculptures on the bridges. I'm not sure if you can make it out, but these are actually birds. You can see the beak and the beak going down over there. And then the creature in the middle is a fawn. So I hear you saying, what the devil's a fawn? Look at the beautiful iron metalwork in the bridge as well. It's so attractive. A faun is a half human, half goat mythical creature from Greek and Roman mythology. So we're going to come across Hildo Krop's work a lot in Amsterdam. It's so distinctive, it really is. Anyway, there you go. Right, and I'm not going to talk too much about Raadhuisstraat because I think I'll do that all by itself. But the street, they had to break down a whole lot of buildings to make the street, and then they replaced it. Actually, let me just show you quickly. It's really beautiful. This kind of curving, no, I can't show you without running across the street. Sort of curving colonnade over here. Anyway, it's really very nice. You know, I still haven't thought of a quiz question. I'm so busy. I had a walking tour this afternoon unexpectedly, so I haven't got the quiz question yet. I vote for the Afikomen for the answer to the spicy question. Okay, Cynthia. Well, thank you for the thank you for the oh, look at these Diocletian windows. I didn't notice those before. Okay, so this was all rebuilt, and oh, here is what I want to show you. With some of the buildings that were broken down to make this rebuilding, here is the interior of one of them. How's that for beautiful? That was broken down to make room for the red brick building. But thankfully it wasn't destroyed. This interior ended up at the Stedelijk Museum and then is now actually being looked after in the Rijksmuseum. So it's stored somewhere. And you'll see up here, it says in this kind of nice, vaguely Art Nouveau lettering of the time, Life Insurance Utrecht. So that was a life insurance company called Utrecht. Beautiful sign writing, isn't it? And then I was looking here and I thought, you know, this window is so beautiful. With the kind of the Art Nouveau sort of whiplash detail, yeah? Like this. Very organic sort of flowers, flowery plant growing shapes. And then I thought, well, I'm sure it's lovely inside. So here's the window from the outside. And here's the window from the inside. Looking out. And I was quite surprised by what I found there, because there's these really nice paintings on the wall up there, and then the light wasn't quite right and I realized I was on the wrong side and I needed to move across this way. And it's a nice painting of what's outside. There's the canal outside. brilliant. Yeah, they certainly don't make things like this anymore. Look at the detail on the ceiling. Very cool. I love Art Nouveau, I must say. And then in this tiny little side room, the beautiful painted tile work as well. Allemachtig prachtig, Nathalie. Oh, how do I get in there? Annette, it's just a furniture store on the corner. You just walk into the shop. It's great. They're very nice. Anyway, so that's that. And just in the interest of continuity, let me point that in the same direction to get rid of it. Ta-da! And then, isn't this a remarkable house here? This is so wide. Like it's 7 windows wide. That's just not normal. Just niet normaal. Niet normaal, as you would say in Dutch, to have such a big house. Thankfully now it's lots of homes, which is great. There's loads of buzzers on the door. It's nice that so many people can be enjoying the space. Obviously in time it's been owned by many people. And let me just zoom in on this beautiful detail above the door. How's that? Okay, so there was a family that lived here, the Hooft family, H-O-O-F-D. And there was a certain Hester Hooft. And she was the daughter of the family. She was still unmarried. This was sometime in the 1700s. And she very famously accompanied a guest of the family to the theatre, and that guest happened to be the rather famous Mr. Casanova. Now she accompanied him alone, and she was quite young, unmarried, and this was quite unorthodox. He was even quite surprised, and she said to him, "Oh, you know, we're much more liberated than most places here in the Netherlands." Anyway, at the end of the evening, he wanted to kiss her hand, and she offered instead her lips, and he kissed her lips. Not much else happened, but it was quite surprising to him apparently. Anyway, she had a son called Dirk, and he had a daughter called Caroline, who had a daughter called Elbrichia, who had a daughter called Ella, who had a daughter called... And no, this is not the quiz question. Okay. So, to see if I can show you the 2 churches. Well, the Wester Church is quite far in the distance. This is a nice view here of the Gothic one that we were just looking at. So look at it, isn't it grand? Actually, I can probably get a better view of that from directly opposite it. Let me just show you this baby here. So have a look up here. Such a lovely, actually this quality of this looks pretty good from my side. What we have here, Keizersgracht 209, originally built in 1619, and there were 3 buildings together in the same ownership, and they had the sort of stepped gable that you would expect. Oh, come on. Sort of the Dutch Renaissance style stepped gable. Oh, look at this. I'm just going to hold that for a moment, and I'm going to zoom in on this for you, because look at this absolutely perfect Louis XV window decoration here. It's just so beautifully restored. Such good condition. That kind of rococo feathery thing going on. Now I missed a joke. I'm going to have to look at the chat later. Okay. Oh, and there's a tiny little alleyway between these two houses, about 1 meter wide. Seriously leaning over. Check it out. Getting smaller and smaller as it goes up. Okay, so there were these three houses next to each other, and they were known as, I've got it somewhere here, where is it? I think it's Hope, Faith, Love. No, Hope, Love and Faith. And this one was called Hope. Now clearly this has been rebuilt. This was in 1734 in the Louis XIV sort of Baroque style. And you rarely get that at the top here. This kind of Baroque detail. It's not only got a broken pediment, which is a really Baroque thing, but look how this balustrade curves back. That's also another Baroque feature, where you get things curving a lot as opposed to just straight lines. Okay, so when they put that in, they put the representation of Faith up on the top, this huge female statue. And I've got another picture of it here from the city archive, just a better angle, black and white unfortunately, but look at all that lovely sort of over the top detail. And I think there's another picture, oh I've already shown you this but I'll show you anyway, a nice close-up that I took from the other side of the canal. There's Faith. And this is some interior detail just to give you an idea of how fancy these places were. From the city archive, beautiful stairway, and really over the top. Imagine having that as a door in your house. God, astonishing, isn't it? Okay. And this is a good view of the church opposite, with one of, I think, the ugliest canal boats coming by. Let's pretend it's not there. Let's quickly move away from it. How's about that? What the hell were they thinking? Oi, oi, oi. That's better. Okay. So we've had faith. Now we have love. So this is a far simpler building. It's still not the original, because it's obviously not the original stepped gable. It's got a later bell gable on it, but let me just zoom in. I've got a bigger version of the gable stone that is on the side of it. You can see the gable stone just there to the left of the picture. So what this shows is a woman with a child. And also in the basket just to her left is a pelican with 3 young. Now we keep on bumping into this. This is where the bird pierces its breast and feeds its young with its blood. And what this has always symboled is a sacrificial love. It precedes Christianity by quite some way, but it's often used as as Christian symbolism. Hello.
You're interested in my house?
I'm just talking about, let me show you, you can have a look here. I'm talking to people
yes.
about the gable stone.
I know.
Yes.
It's fantastic, right?
Beautiful house.
I also like it.
Yeah. We're live, we're just live, so
Good,
that's
good. Okay.
okay.
Good luck to you.
Thanks. So yeah, that is, as I said, it predates Christianity by quite some way. And it's used all over Amsterdam. Also, it's been taken on by the Sephardic Jewish community when 3 of their congregations merged way back in the 1600s. They took on that symbol as well. What a nice man. He didn't complain about me. I was just always so scared, you know, like it's happened before when people come and sort of have a go at me because I'm pointing a camera in the direction of their house, even though we can't see inside. That's cool. Okay, now this one here, gosh, my arm is getting tired of holding this gimbal. This was built in the early 1900s. As you can see, it's a very, very different style. Stone. Not the sort of normal stone you would see from earlier periods, kind of has weathered much better as well. Also beautiful ironwork. Okay, and this was built for an insurance company. And the main decorative, there's two decorative things, okay? There's this detail over here and then these details up there. And I'm gonna show you all of these. The one in the middle, the round one, here is a detail of that. Okay. Try and get it, see, oh gosh. So you can see both. There you can see it in its situ and on screen. Now, this is showing Arion, A-R-I-O-N. And Arion was an ancient Greek performer, and that's why he's holding a musical instrument. And with him, he was kidnapped by pirates, but miraculously rescued by dolphins. So the ship to the left is the pirate ship, and you can see the rather unusual dolphin underneath him rescuing him. And so that is showing this concept of a safe homecoming, basically what you want with insurance. And then the smaller details up on there, here's on the one side, you can see anchors. Obviously anchors provide safety because they keep the ship from drifting. And then there's a marsupial of some kind, maybe a kangaroo with its baby in its pouch, again showing safety in an insurance-y kind of way. And then over here on the other side, zooming in, there's a life buoy. Well, that's obvious. Insurance is the life buoy. And then again, we have the pelican with its 3 young. So looking after its young. So all that imagery on this building over here. Oh, I love the way the sun is catching these gables. I don't really have anything to say about this building, but there's a rather nice crown at the top of it. There's 3 big grand buildings here. See, beautiful houses. Not much that I can find out about them, but just that, like, wow. Imagine having this kind of place. Here's a close-up of the top of the gable. Also beautifully restored as well, actually. There's that up there. It looks like a barber's pole here. Okay, where are we up to now? Somewhere there's like cabbage. Cabbage. Oh no, I've gone past the cabbage. Where's the cabbage? It's number 5. Oh, you can hardly see it. They painted it. Believe it or not, this is a cabbage. Like, why the heck would you have a cabbage on the side of your building? Well, this is because going right back to 1618, the guy who had this built, his name was Willem Klaas's own Kool. And what kool means in Dutch is cabbage. Okay, so that was what he wanted on the side of his house. Classy. Okay. Beautiful. Oh, what a lovely evening. And another Louis XV house here with all the feathers. Another beautiful sky above the door. Like so many. And then there's a remarkable amount of detail above the door here. So De Kopermolen, 1746. So the owners of this house had a watermill, and that's what's depicted here. They used to live in the Warmstraat at number 5, where there's also a watermill pictured, so that was their thing. And I think quite romantically, the couple who lived here had their initials either side of the door. So on this side you have Rodolphus Knijs and Eva van Wateringen. And their initials have been there for hundreds of years, side by side, and no doubt will continue to be there for some hundreds of years as well. I like that. Okay, now what a beautiful evening. So let's see if there's anything else I can show you. Oops, along the way. I think it's all so grand here. It just becomes much of a muchness, doesn't it? It's like, oh gosh, not another grand building. Okay. Right. So, oh, what I wanted to do, I forgot, because I know Adrian says she likes it when there's the old and the new photos. I wanted to do it from down here. I'll zoom in maybe a little bit. It's this kind of view with that church in the distance, and but in a lovely old photo, and before there were cars. So lovely, and the tree is not quite so established, so you still see stuff there. And then just one last photo to share from here, from this bridge looking this way. Is this photo, which hardly ever happens anymore. But yeah, parties on the ice, because we just don't really get that much anymore. The last time that people were skating really on the canals was just when I joined Hago, and but that was some time ago now. Okay, look, I haven't prepared. Is there anyone who hasn't won a slicey? Is there anybody on board who hasn't won a slicey? Oh, I've thought of a question. And just so those of you who don't know what a slicey is, by the way, I've got one here somewhere. I'm sure you all know, but if you don't know, let me get rid of this picture. This is a slicey. Okay. Now, I'm going to have a quiz question for the slicey. If you already have one, please don't answer. Because it's nice to enable somebody else to have a slicey. So the question for the slicey for this tour is I showed you a painting. I showed you a painting that belongs to the 6th collection. And there was a woman in the painting, Lucrezia Winter, and she was wearing something in the painting that they actually have under a dome in the same room as the painting. What is that object that she was wearing in the painting that the family still have in the collection, is the question.
This is good because this is also the way I
I can't see you in the chat. Well, cabbage. No, it wasn't a cabbage. Okay. Who wins? Well, I can't tell from my chat because my chat is going a little bit haywire. So, who won? Okay, great. Well, we will have a look later. And I'll be delighted if it's Cynthia. So, I can't tell from the chat, but we'll have a look. I think in about 12 hours the chat becomes live. So thank you so much for joining, everybody. If you want to make a donation, I do appreciate it a lot. There's a buy me a coffee and a PayPal link in the description. If you would like to like this, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't, all that kind of stuff. And I will see you next week. So bye-bye, everybody. Take care. And let me give you a nice view of the canal as we just